Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today, we're going to be talking about the 9/9 portal, which is occurring on and around September 9th, 2021. And remember, time is not linear, it is fluid. And so these energies are going to be experienced throughout the month of September. And really, whenever for different people. I always tell people with every single video that I do, even if it is what we might call time sensitive, as time truly is an illusion, whenever you're finding this video is the time when what we're going to be talking about today is going to be most relevant for you. So don't dismiss this video regardless of the timing of when you find it, because there could be messages in there. I actually had suggested videos on my YouTube that people did for 9/9 portals like 2 years ago. And I listened to one of those videos this morning, and the messages were so on point for me. So you never really know. Always trust your resonance and your intuition. If something pops up, if you're guided to something, if you're watching this video 4 years from now, when I'm recording this in 2021, go ahead and watch it, because there may be something in here for you. All right. And so I did do that 9/9 portal video for Empath Uprising. If you guys didn't check that out, that link has been in the description box of multiple videos that I've put out this week. And I'll put it in the description box from this as well, because I know that some of the stuff we're going to be talking about is the same, but some of it's going to be different too. And so I really enjoyed making that video, and there were a lot of really powerful things that came up during that video. So I definitely recommend that you check that out as well, and that you check out the channel Empath Uprising, the whole Empath Uprising community. Pete is amazing. There's just so much good stuff there. Anything else I want to say before we get going? No, I think that's it. So we're going to get right into these energies here, you guys. These are powerful energies. And what I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to link in the description box below different topics that come up during this talk, because this is probably going to be a long video. And so for people who want to just jump right to a certain thing, I'm going to have those timestamps so that you can sort of jump to what sounds interesting or intriguing to you. And if you did watch the video on Empath Uprising and you don't want to rehash of a lot of the same information, although like I said, there's probably going to be differences, but regardless, if you don't want to really hear about that again, and there's something else that we talk about that sounds interesting, you can skip ahead to that part. Or I'm going to timestamp where the reading begins as well, and you can skip right ahead to the reading and the guidance that we get through the cards. So look for those in the description box below. Those of you who catch this video right when it comes out, I'm probably not going to have done that yet. But if you're catching this video a little bit later, after I post it, then you will be able to sort of skip to those different parts of the video. And yeah, so I thought that would be helpful for everyone. All right. It was really interesting this morning. I was channeled a little bit more information, and this was around the energy of Christ consciousness. So this is the thing that I want to talk about first, because this 9/9 portal energy, it's a big energy of completion, but it's also a birthing portal. And there's a lot of birthing energy going on, things that we are creating, things that we are birthing, the next version and evolution of ourselves that's being birthed, this new paradigm that's being birthed, and also this Christ consciousness energy that we are birthing. And so when we talk about Christ consciousness, people talk about the return of Christ. Christ isn't going to return in physical incarnated form again. Christ returns through each and every single one of us when we embody that consciousness. And so this is something that gets a little bit misunderstood sometimes in different communities. We are the return of Christ consciousness. And so there was some information that got channeled to me this morning regarding that journey as we come to embody Christ consciousness. And what my attention was drawn to was the energy of Christ himself and his personal experience, right? Jesus Christ. And I talk about Jesus, Master Jesus. I look at him as an ascended master, somebody who came to earth in order to help to shift humanity, help to plant seeds. That's really what he came here to do when he was embodied on this planet, was to plant seeds. And so when we talk about Master Jesus, we're talking about him as an ascended master, right? We're talking about him as an extra dimensional being who came down here in order to plant these seeds that would then continue to grow. And really at this point, what we're doing is those seeds are beginning to flower now, as we are in this yellow electric seed year, which is a year that is guided by flowering, right? Flowering is an aspect of the yellow seed energy. So we're really seeing those seeds that were planted way back then beginning to flower. But what I was guided to understand was the journey of Christ, at least the story. So people debate whether or not everything that is said to have happened actually happened. There are people who debate whether he was actually placed on the cross, all of these different things, right? We're not here to get into those specifics. What we're here to get into is the meaning of the story and that journey, because this is a journey that we're all going to be undergoing to a certain extent as we learn to embody and hold this Christ consciousness. So in this story, in this experience that Jesus had in his human incarnation, he was a rebel. He was somebody who went against the grain, right? He didn't just go along with the status quo. He came here to change that. He came here to offer enlightenment. He came here to teach people about the magic that they hold, to teach people that they are God. And the miracles that he performed teaching people that they could do that too, right? He didn't come down here saying, I am special, I am the Son of God, I can make all of this magic, and you can't, so follow me. He said, follow me if you wish, be with me, join me, and I will show you how you can become. And actually, the word become isn't even relevant because we already are, right? I will show you how you can do the things that I do. I will show you and help you understand how you are God, right? It's not that I'm a child of God and I'm an only child. We are all the children of God. We are all God. And we can all do all of these things. And he taught about the power of the mind and intention. He taught about healing, energy healing, the fact that everybody is capable of doing this, and we hold healing centers in the palms of our hands. For anyone who practices Reiki or different types of energy healing, this will sound very familiar, right? He taught so much. These esoteric teachings, basically. Essentially what he did was he brought all of these esoteric teachings that were reserved for the elite. And he brought them to the common man. He brought them to the people. And so at some point during this journey, his energy was misinterpreted. He was feared by the establishment, and he was also feared by people. There were people who were afraid of him. There were people who didn't understand, right? Because he was doing something different. These concepts were not available to the average person, right? They saw these miraculous gifts and abilities. And many people were afraid. And the establishment used that fear and played on that fear. And eventually, people turned against him, right? And we see what happened, this energy of him being crucified. And so the reason that this story is being brought to our attention is because as we learn to embody Christ consciousness, we are going to have to go against the grain. Right, we're here. Christ consciousness is the tool that we use to dismantle what needs to be dismantled, right? To dissolve that old energy, and it's a dissolving, but it's a bringing together, right? We're absorbing it, we're dissolving it and reabsorbing it into the light, right? That's that unifying energy. But in order to do this, like we're going to have to be rebels. All right, that's the energy of it. We are here to shake things up. You don't shake things up by being the same, by acting the same, by doing the same. And so we are going to need to embody that aspect of his energy, of that energy, right? And there are going to be, metaphorically speaking, many of us will be crucified. This does not mean in the literal sense, right? We've moved beyond that energy. But in the metaphorical sense, many of us will experience that. And that is part of the learning to embody this Christ consciousness energy. Because what did Jesus do when these people feared him? When these people vilified him? When these people literally crucified him? He showed them love. He showed them compassion. He showed them tolerance. That is unconditional love. That is Christ consciousness love. Right? And so that's how we learn to embody this. And this is so important. One of the major energies of this 9/9 portal is this ending of the paradigm of separation and this birthing, this true birthing of the paradigm of unity, of oneness. And so understanding unity and oneness and stepping more deeply into that is key. But we don't experience unity and oneness when we are allowing division and separation. When we are playing into that. Remember, even though the third dimensional, the old paradigm is dissolving, is being completed with this 9/9 portal, the hologram of it still exists. Right? And that energy is going to try to pull us back in. Because even though it's not real anymore, if we believe in it, we can recreate it. We can remain attached to it, and we can continue to breathe it back into being. And that's what it wants us to do. That's all it wants us to do. So this illusion, this fear illusion, is going to be very strong. This illusion of separation may appear stronger before we dissolve it. So it is our job not to back down, not to people please, not to hide our light and be afraid to speak our truth. We stand in that more firmly than ever, but we do it with love. We do it with compassion, right? We show love, compassion, and tolerance to everyone. We allow people to have their individual experience, right? And we share the wisdom and the knowledge that we have gained where people are receptive to it, right? If those who seek it, if they come to us, we share it, right? That's why it's so important that we continue speaking our truth, so that people who are seeking that knowledge and that wisdom and that illumination, that understanding, know where to look. They know where to find that when they are ready for it, right? But we allow everyone to have their own experience, and we don't engage in these, what's the word I'm looking for? In these tense exchanges with people, right? We don't allow ourselves to get pulled into this divisive energy anymore. So that's so important and so imperative as we move forward, because that hologram, like we said, that hologram still exists, right? Or it's still being presented to us. It's our job to look past that, to feel past that, to love past that. As we each make our individual choice of whether we want to relate to that hologram, relate to that fear consciousness, or whether we want to embrace the love consciousness. So, so important. There's a lot of energy of choosing. That was a big energy that came up, is being conscious in our choices. As we move through that 8/8 portal, a lot was brought to our awareness. And we had the opportunity to choose a timeline to move forward in. Right? That time, our highest and best timeline. We had that opportunity to choose that. And so now, as we move through this 9/9 portal energy, we are seeing a closeout of all the old timelines that are not associated with our choice. And we're being asked to allow those to close out, allow those to complete. As we move forward, and to make choices in every single moment, every single day, to continuously choose that higher timeline. To choose that with our words, with our thoughts, with our actions, because that's what creates our vibration, which is our ultimate tool of choice, right? Our vibration is what ultimately dictates our choice. So we want to be always constantly choosing and choosing and choosing in every single moment, that which will align us with that most optimal and highest timeline. And if we ever get confused or we don't know, that's when we go back into the heart, because that's where that awareness rests. Right? So really paying attention to that, paying attention and understanding that we are choosing. And knowing that we get another choice in every single now moment. And the now moment is the only moment that exists. So just focus on what you are choosing in this moment. If you find that you've gone through part of your day and all of a sudden you realize that you were choosing something else without even being consciously aware of it. In this now moment, what do you choose? That's how we navigate this. And we keep that in the forefront of our minds. And we understand that we are each sovereign beings. Yes, we are all connected. We are all part of the one, but we are sovereign beings. We are individuated sparks of source essence. And so everybody gets their own choice. And we don't try to make somebody else's choice for them. We focus on our choice, right? And we make that choice consistently. What else do we want to talk about here? Oh, yes. Yes. So we have some really fun stuff going on as far as the DNA activations that we are receiving during this 9/9 portal. We are going to be receiving activations that activate within us strands of our DNA that are related to our star-seeded heritage, especially those that the star-seed groups and heritage that is the most prominent in our DNA. And so we all contain DNA from all of these different starseed races, right? From all of these different extraterrestrial races. However, some of us have spent different amounts of time with different lineages, and we have more of a closeness with certain, more of a resonance with certain extraterrestrial groups and energies. And so where we have the most resonance, is most likely where we're going to be receiving some of these major activations. And this is twofold what this is doing for us. One thing that this is doing for us is it is opening us up to more of our innate gifts and abilities. Right? The 9 energy of this 9/9 portal, it is an energy of completion. It's also an energy of spiritual mastery. So we're being reminded of our spiritual mastery, of the fact that we are spiritual masters, and really being asked to step into that, really being asked to trust ourselves on a deeper level, to trust our own spiritual knowing, but also being opened up. And part of this next level of mastery includes recalling some of these gifts and abilities, especially as they are linked to our star-seeded heritage. So that is one thing that these activations are going to do for us, is bring more of those gifts online. And we're going to see really an explosion of our gifts and abilities activating as we move through this 9/9 portal and beyond, through the 10/10, 11/11, 12/12. I mean, just picking up speed and velocity is what it feels like as we continue moving through the rest of 2021. All right. So just that is something that we're going to be experiencing. There's a whole lot of stuff that's probably going to come with that, which may be a different video at a different point where we dig into that a little bit more. But that is one aspect. The next aspect of what it's doing is it's strengthening our connection to our different starseed heritage. And so what that means is that if you have strong Pleiadian energy, you spend a lot of time in the Pleiades, and that strand of your DNA, that aspect of your DNA is activated. What that's going to do is make it easier for the Pleiadians to contact you and for you to contact them, and so on and so forth, with various different starseed lineages. So because they want that contact to come through more strongly. And there's a few different reasons for this. Of course, the first is so that we can receive guidance. It is also, this is the beginnings of what people call first contact. And we've been in first contact energy for a while now. As humanity began to open up to the presence of what we would call interdimensional or extraterrestrial beings, they began asking for assistance, for contact. And when enough of the population desired this contact was able to be made. And it was made through a select few at the time, because it takes a certain vibration of energy to be able to connect with these high vibrational energies. You have to be within range of this energy in order to be able to connect with it. And so it took a lot of work for a lot of people. Some people were naturally open to this vibrationally, right? A lot of people, it was like fasting and doing this and meditation and all of this stuff to really bring the energy into a frequency where it could connect with these beings. right? And so as we've been going through this ascension process and these energies have been kicking higher and higher into gear, and we've been receiving all of these activations, all of these light codes, everything that's been pouring in, especially over the last few years, more and more people have been able to make that connection because our frequency is naturally higher now. And so these activations are going to help bring that through to more people, and to people who are already receiving communication, it's going to bring it through more strongly. And this is, like we said, the first step of first contact. And when people talk about contact, what they talk about is, of course, these interdimensional beings revealing themselves to us, and possibly being present and allowing themselves to be seen here. And so it's a process, right? If they were to just drop down right now, a lot of people would they would shit their pants, basically. I mean, we're not going to polish it up in fancy words. It would be interesting. And a lot of people just being in the presence of energy that high vibrational will bring all their stuff up to the surface. And of course, what happens? We all know what happens when this happens, because many of us, to varying extents, we are activational, right? We are activators. And so we see this in people, right? When people interact with us sometimes, we bring things to the surface for them, and we know the way that they react to that, right? It's that energy, the pointing the finger energy, that energy of blaming us, right? Because they don't understand what's going on. And so it would really backfire, and it would really be painful and detrimental to humanity if they were to just drop down like that, right? So it's a process. Our energy has to be prepared. We have to have a certain percentage of the population that really truly wants this and is actually prepared for it. And so that's the process that's been underway for quite a while now, right? We are receiving a lot of assistance in the higher realms, so much more assistance than most of us realize. But that direct assistance takes time. So this is really laying the groundwork on the next level of laying that groundwork for first contact, is by more and more people receiving that contact individually and sharing that contact. When we share about this stuff, we normalize it. We bring it into people's awareness. And especially the people that would not be expected to say, hey, I talk to aliens. Those are the people that it's actually the most important to be sharing this. Because that's the way, like, if people look at people like me, they're like, yeah, of course she talks about that stuff. She's, kind of out there, right? But if, say, Joan from next door, who everyone considers to be kind of like them, or more sane and rational, right? We're using quotations because you guys know. But all of a sudden starts talking about this, that's going to have a different kind of effect, because people have a different understanding of who Joan is. And we're using the name Joan just randomly, and actually I think it's really funny that I just pulled Joan out of the ether there, because now I'm thinking Joan of Arc, who does assist people in standing their ground and speaking their truth. So it's really funny that that's the name that randomly came for that analogy, right? Yeah, more people are going to listen to Joan. She's going to have a different type of effect than I might have, right? So talking about it, sharing the messages that we're receiving, but also, talking about it and sharing the messages that we're receiving. The other aspect of this is that what it's showing us is the fact that this is a deeper understanding of unity. We understand that all of humanity is one. A lot of people can wrap their heads around that. But now we're taking it a step further by establishing this contact more deeply with our interdimensional brothers and sisters. We're seeing that we are one with them as well. So our understanding of what oneness is multiplied exponentially by this understanding, by this contact, especially as more and more people receive contact and are open to contact. Because it's the understanding that there is no hierarchy here, right? Everybody has this capability. Everybody is a spark of God consciousness. Everybody is part of this one unified field of creation. And so it's bringing that oneness to an even deeper or an even larger level, I guess you could say, which is really, really powerful. All right. So really positive, powerful activations. And yes, we are probably going to be experiencing more ascension symptoms as these things are activated. Everybody's different. Some people move through these activations very smoothly. Other people, it's a little bit of a rougher road. If you are struggling with your energy adapting to any of this, please reach out to me. The Belvespita healing that I do is specifically, it was downloaded to assist with the ascension process. And so it can really help when you're experiencing these ascension symptoms and different things. So please, please, please reach out to me. My email is in the description box below if you would like assistance moving through these energies and possibly these ascension symptoms. Yes, another thing that I talked about in the 9/9 portal video on Empath Uprising that was really important was that as we are receiving this communication, like our telepathy is going to be increasing, our ability to communicate telepathically. And this is communication with each other. Telepathic communication with each other is going to be increasing because remember, we're stepping more deeply into that oneness energy. And when we are one, of course, our minds are connected as well as our hearts. We are connected in every way. So naturally, telepathy will be increasing. Our empathic abilities will be increasing. Remember, empathy is a form of telepathy. And so this is why it's so important to be shielding your energy, to be really aware of what your energy is, of your own mind, your own sovereignty. Because as we become more interconnected, we are going to become even more empathic. And so we don't want to be confused by what is our energy and what is another's. And that's a whole other topic and whole other video. There is actually, and I keep talking about this, I really need to get started on it. Coming up sometime in the hopefully near future here, I will be creating a class that helps people to get centered in their own energy and sovereignty because it's so important. But I believe there's a couple other videos where I've talked about this. If people want more information, there was a video that I posted, it should be in the informational videos playlist on this channel that talks about establishing your own energetic sovereignty and standing strong in your own vibration. So check that out. I'll actually maybe link that in the description box below for people who haven't checked that out because some of that stuff is really important. Just some initiatory or initial pointers there and energies to think about. But yeah, it's going to be really important for us to know our own energy because we are going to become that much more connected and that empathy is going to increase. We're going to be able to feel and sense other people's thoughts and emotions much more. But they want us to understand how telepathy works. Because it's not necessarily, for some people it is, but not for everybody. A lot of people think that when somebody communicates telepathically with you, it's like the conversation I'm having with you right now. And you just hear them in your head talking the way I'm talking to you right now. And for some people that is. But that's not the only way that telepathy works. And really when we receive it like that, it's just our guides and angels and whoever it is that we're communicating with taking it a little easier on us by slowing things down. Because telepathy, as we move into these higher consciousnesses, it's like downloads. All right, so it's information. There's a whole flood of information that comes in at once. And what could be a 2-hour conversation happens within 30 seconds. I'm obviously making up the times here, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Like all of that information comes in at once and you just instantly know it. That is telepathy. That is a download, right? And so when we are receiving downloads, we are receiving telepathic communication. And so these knowings that pop into your mind, these inspired thoughts that pop into your mind, these are telepathic communication. So to know that and understand that, images that pop into your mind are telepathic communication. There are so many different ways that we are communicated with. And so we really want to begin to open ourselves up to the understanding of that. And of course, we always want to ensure that we are going with the resonance of the vibration because we are receiving all this telepathic communication from the higher realms, that doesn't mean that that's all we're receiving. I mean, to an extent, we receive what we're open to receive. So set really clear boundaries. I always set clear boundaries, and at this point, it's essentially known because I set these boundaries every time, and I've set them so often that they're really held in my field at this point. And that is that only only beings that are in service to the light of the highest vibration, who have my truest and highest good, the intentions for my truest and highest good and the truest and highest good of humanity are welcome to communicate with me. That's the only communication I allow through. And I set those boundaries. Anytime that I intentionally wish to communicate, I set those boundaries. Right? And as I said, I've set them so often that that's just a default in my field now at this point. Anytime anything comes through, I can always ask, are you of service to the light? Is this the highest truth? Right? We can always ask that. And we can feel into it. We can feel into it. And we can use some common sense too. Anything that is for our highest good and the highest good of others, we're never going to be giving communication that asks us to do something harmful for ourselves or others. Right? That's not going to happen. That is not of the light. That is not love. Right? That is not loving communication. It's always going to feel good. If it doesn't feel right, then it probably isn't right. And so really using our own level of discernment, practicing those shielding, practicing getting really specific. Anytime communications come through, we can say, if you are not of the highest vibration of light, in service to the light, if this communication and your intention is not for my highest good, leave. And blow it away with love. All right? Like, we can get really specific. These boundaries, when we talk about setting boundaries, we're not just talking about setting boundaries with people or even with ourselves, although that came up in the video the other day, the importance of setting boundaries with ourselves as well as others. But we set boundaries with everyone and everything. And we get really good at that, and we get really good at that by practicing that. All right. Let's see. Yes, so talking more about moving out of the paradigm of separation into the paradigm of unity. Yes. And this, I did read this on Empath Uprising, and I'm going to read it again because it was so beautiful. So I'm going to read this whole section to you guys. It says, we are moving out of the old paradigm of separation and into the paradigm of unity. Understanding, feeling what it means to be truly connected, to be truly one. This is what will heal the planet. This is also why we will be receiving increased telepathic communication from our star brethren, to show and help us understand that we are unified not only with each other on this planet, but with them as well. All of creation is one unified field. Practice love, practice compassion. Know that there is only one heart and one mind. We are the heartbeat of the one mind. Let our hearts beat together and create a harmonic symphony that shall lift us to this paradigm of the new earth, being fully present with one another, fully connected, fully anchored, and fully free. Yeah. Looking to see if there's anything else. Yeah, we are stepping into this this energy of higher planetary service, this higher expression of our own energy. So the old us, we're being asked to let go of and release as this new version of us, this new understanding of who we are comes through. And we're being shown an understanding what service is being called for each of us individually. Right? What is our individual service? How is it that we are individually giving back to humanity? And we talked about this a lot in the Virgo season video, I think it was. The understanding that service, filling our own cup is a great service. Healing ourselves is a great service to the planet. And so that's always where our service is. Even as we step into other forms of service, we're still constantly healing ourselves. I work on myself all the time. And I go through periods of resistance where I try to hide and I try to run away from the work. And then I come back to the work. And sometimes that is the work. Okay, sometimes I need that experience. Sometimes the feeling as though we're falling backward is part of that launching process. Right? We talk about this sometimes, how when you're shooting an arrow, you pull back on the bow first before you release it. And so that sometimes that resistance is part of that working. That falling back into old patterns is part of that healing process. Right? I go through this just as much as anyone else does. Anybody that you see talking about any of this stuff, like, I hope that they are still working on themselves and still growing. And you can feel it when people are, and you can feel it when people aren't. Right? So we're always healing. We're always growing. We're always doing service. That is the most powerful service that we do. And then there are the other ways that we are of service to humanity. And each and every single person has a unique way that they are of service. It doesn't all have to look the same. It doesn't all have to look like having a YouTube channel, or being an energy healer, or whatever, a humanitarian in a specific context, right? There are so many different ways that people are of service. When you are living in your light, and you are living your passion, you are living your truth, and you are honoring what brings joy to your soul, you are being of service, right? Because that is the greatest service. That is what we are here to do. Because when you are 100% authentically yourself, which is what we mean by shining your light, when you are operating from that place of integrity and truth, you are modeling that for others. And you are making a massive difference and helping other people to do that. And when we step into our truth, we naturally step into our service. All right. And so if we don't know what our truth is, now is the time to find that out. Now is the time to allow that process to unfold. Because it's always unfolding. We're always being shown what we need to see and understand in order to continue to evolve. And there's a lot of evolution energy with this 9-9 portal energy. Reinvention, evolution. All right, we have Uranus very active during this 9-9 portal. There's a lot of astrology going on here. We have Uranus active. We have Eris and Pluto very active. Venus being activated. And this Uranus energy, we have Uranus conjunct true black moon Lilith, trining the sun in retrograde, remember, and also opposing Venus conjunct the moon in Libra. All right, so this is that energy. This is a powerful energy. Uranus and true black moon together are a very powerful energy of that rebellion energy, that wildness, that freedom, that need and desire to be free, to move beyond restrictions. Anywhere where we have felt repressed or suppressed, between the Eris square Pluto action and this Uranus conjunct true black moon action, we're really asking to move out of that. And with this Libra conjunct the moon, or Libra, Venus conjunct the moon in the sign of Libra, this is that energy of beautiful creation, beautiful harmony, yes, beautiful artistic energy. But there are also aspects of this energy where we see that people-pleasing energy, where we see that desire for harmony at all costs, especially with the moon, which is our sense of security, as well as feminine energy, right? Our sense of security. So this desire to break free versus this need for security, especially when it comes to relationships, how people view us. So it's a big energy of that. And that is why I think I was called to talk about this development of Christ consciousness, right? And the energy and the experience that he went through, that many of us, it's like an initiation as we are stepping into this Christ consciousness energy. Am I willing to be the scapegoat if I need to be made the scapegoat? Am I willing to allow people to point their fingers at me? Can I find strength during that process to continue shining my light, knowing that those seeds are still being planted, and that that's my only job, to hold my light and to plant those seeds? Can I stand firm in my truth with loving intention? Can I practice tolerance and compassion and forgiveness in the face of such adversity? All right? These are the questions that we're being asked, that we need to go within and ask ourselves. And if we desire that strength will be given to us. We already have it, right? But if we desire, if we need extra strength, if we need a confirmation of that, if we need assistance finding that strength within ourselves, let's put it that way. I like that better. Master Jesus is coming through saying, call on me. Call on me, I will show you the way. Right? He is here standing in solidarity with all of us as we develop this consciousness, his consciousness, this Christ consciousness, this God consciousness, all right? Yeah. Mary Magdalene, his twin flame, his twin soul, she offers her support as well. There are some women who may feel called to call upon her energy and her guidance. She is a powerful ascended master as well. She is the feminine embodiment of the Christ energy. All right. So you can absolutely, if you relate more to Mary Magdalene, call on her. You can call on your angels, your team, you can call on anyone. But Master Jesus coming through very powerfully, offering that, as well as Mary Magdalene, offering that support. We knew what we were coming here to do. We have everything within us that we need to do it. Yeah. And that's what it's really about, ultimately, is knowing that, understanding that, and being comfortable being present here. Not looking for an escape. There's a lot of starseeds, a lot of people, light workers, whatever you identify as, who, when we begin to realize that we're not from here, right? That we're kind of, actually, I don't want to say vacationing, because it's not a vacation. We came here with a mission, with a purpose, right? But when we realize that we are incarnated here, we don't actually, this isn't where we come from. There is definitely that energy. Where for a while we get homesick and we want to go home, right? We want to go home. And it's hard to fully connect with being here. But we really want to be what we call on this channel, fully incarnated. We want to remain connected to all that we are, to all that is, but know that we can experience that connection while being rooted and grounded here as well. And we want to really practice that, because that's how we ground in the light. That's how we assist Gaia, right? How we activate the grid is by being fully present and anchored here. All right, so we want to practice that. We want to practice acceptance of the fact that we are here right now. In this now moment, in this now consciousness, we are right here. We are exactly where we wanted to be, exactly where we were meant to be. All right? And we wouldn't have come here if we couldn't fulfill the purpose that we came here to fulfill. All right? It's already written. It's already done. We're just playing out the storyline right now, which is something really powerful to remember in those moments where we feel doubt. But it's about really connecting and allowing ourselves to be fully present here. Okay, fully anchored, fully centered, and fully present. And yes, it is helpful to learn about past lives. It is helpful to learn about ourselves in other incarnations and other expressions of our soul energy, right? But we don't want to get too distracted by that either. All of that we are bringing into and unifying with our experience right now. We're calling upon what we need from those lifetimes as we go. Sometimes it is specific to know certain things so that we can close them out, so that we can complete them, so that we can call them forward. That's some of the stuff that we do sometimes in theta healing. If there's something specific that we are attempting to work with, we may need to understand some of those energies very briefly so that we can resolve them and let them go, so that we can pull forward what we need, for lack of a better term. But spending too much time obsessing about those things as well disconnects us from our presence here right now. So it's so important to be present here right now, to be accepting of where we are right now. Acceptance is an alchemizing energy. When we accept something, we cease resisting it. Remember, what we resist persists. As soon as we are able to come into a place of acceptance, we are able to alchemize energy. All right, so incredibly important. And not using New Earth as an escape either. That was an energy that came through. A lot of us, we spend so much time talking about what New Earth's going to be like, but we aren't ever fully present, experiencing and being rooted in this moment right now. It's like we look at that as like the thing that's going to save us. Oh, it's going to be so great when we get to New Earth. Yes, it will. Yes, it is. Right? But it can be great right now too. This is such a powerful moment. This is the moment your soul came here for. Your soul existed in an energy like New Earth. Very likely. In other versions of you, it already does. This is an authentic, once in a, I don't even want to say lifetime. I don't even know what the word is for what I'm trying to say right now. But this opportunity to be here right now is so powerful. This is it. This is the meat. This is the juice. And so for us to really understand that and get really grateful that we're here in this moment right now, gaining the glory, as Pete would say on Empath Uprising. I absolutely love that. That was one of my favorite things I think I had heard in a long time when he said, your soul came here for the glory. Right? Your soul is a warrior. And it came here to be part of this experience right now for the glory of it. Right? To be able to say, I was there, right? I helped this planet shift. Everything that we're doing right now, these are not easy tasks. I mean, they can be, I guess. Anything can be. It's all about perspective. And it's all what we make of it, right? But there's a lot that goes into this. It takes a very strong soul. And so I want to give acknowledgement to every single soul watching this video right now, especially if you've watched it through. You know, if you've just for being present on this planet, forget watching this video right now, because that's kind of egocentric too, right? Like, if you watched me talk for the last 46 minutes, so we're not going there. If you are present on this planet right now, all right. The reason I said if you're watching this video is because you obviously resonate with the material, right? If you're still watching this, all right. If you are present on this planet right now, if you are present in awareness on this planet right now, if you are present living your truth, coming to know and understand your truth right now, that's powerful. That's powerful. So don't for a single moment doubt your power or your worth. All right, because you wouldn't be here right now if you weren't worthy, if you weren't powerful. You are amazing. Know that and remember that. All right, you guys. I actually have some stuff that is going to be going on. Well, I have to leave my apartment for a little bit. So it looks like we may be doing what we did yesterday, which is where I put out this part of the video and then I put out a reading separately that I can record hopefully this evening. So this is already at 47 minutes. As I said, I am going to have to vacate for a little bit coming up here. And I don't want to crunch my time too much. I don't want to feel rushed for the reading. So we're going to leave this right here, and I'll put out that second video with the reading, but this will be time-stamped. I mean, if anybody's watching it right now, I guess it really doesn't matter whether it was time-stamped or not, because we're at 48 minutes. Like, if you've watched it through, this is the end of the video. You didn't need the timestamp, so I guess I don't really need to talk about that. One last thing that I did want to mention, though, is how the galactic signature for the 9/9 portal energy is the red solar moon. All right, so this is an energy of purification, universal water and flow. So perfect, this energy of purification. And we felt that with that new moon in Virgo as well too, right? The purifying, preparing us, getting us ready to enter this beautiful birthing portal. So that purification energy is still very strong, allowing ourselves to be washed clean, right? Allowing ourselves to surrender into the flow, right? Because everything is being divinely orchestrated for us. We don't have to worry about that. All we have to worry about, and not worry, actually, we don't have to worry about anything. Worry kills vibration, right? Worry is fear. So let's get out of that. Let's get out of that worry energy. All we have to do is allow ourselves to sink into the flow and where that flow is taking us, right? And allow this purging, allow this purification, this cleansing process, however that's going to work for you today. And in the days leading up, the days after, remember, these energies are fluid. Allow for that purification. Allow your emotions to come up. Tap into that beautiful divine feminine energy, knowing and understanding that the divine feminine energy is receiving a huge upgrade during this 9/9 portal. A huge upgrade. We've got that Venus, we got the Venus action. We've got the Eris action, true black moon in the works. The wounded feminine really receiving a healing as we close out as well those energies of the wounded feminine and the toxic masculine. Right? We're closing out a lot of those timelines, bringing those to completion. And so if you're experiencing any of those cycles in your life, it's because you are part of that energy that's closing that out for the collective. Right? That toxic interplay of the wounded feminine and the out of balance masculine, right? These are the old storylines that we're ending. And we've talked about that. I'm not going to get too deep into the energies of that because we've talked about that in multiple videos. But we're really clearing and healing a lot of those energies too, so that we can move into this next chapter, this chapter of unity, right? With that unified blend of the masculine and feminine energies operating in their highest, most sacred and divine form. That's the energy that will change the world, when we have those energies in balance within us. And I do believe that I go into this in more detail on the 9/9 portal video on Empath Uprising. So the link to that is in the description box below, like I said, if you guys want to check that out. We talk more about those energies and some of the astrological energies. I'm not feeling compelled to get too deeply into that right now. Just know that that's an energy that we are working through and completing as well, as we step into this next level of our evolution, this next phase of our journey, knowing how to move from that cycle of passivity into this cycle of action, of divinely inspired action. Yeah, divinely inspired action. And so I'm feeling much as very similar to the Lion's Gate portal, those third eye, heart, and solar plexus activations. Sacral for people as well. But we bring in the intuition, right? The communication. We center that. We bring it in through these two places, right? Center that in the heart. Feel it out with the heart. Receive it in the heart. And then we act upon it from here. So these centers very important as we're moving through these energies of creation. And of course the sacral as well. When we're talking about creation, we're going to talk about that as well. I associate the sacral with the feminine, the divine feminine energy, and the solar plexus with the divine masculine energy. So really, and of course we're all getting upgrades all the time on all of our chakras, right? What we need specifically, it is very specific. That's why it's hard to talk about these activations in a collective general sense, because I truly believe that each individual is receiving exactly what they specifically need. But there are some collective energies and some things that as a collective we are experiencing and receiving. All right. Yes, we're going to call it that for today, and I will get that reading out to you guys where we pull some cards on this energy within the next couple days. I love you guys so much. Within the next couple days. What date is it today? We're getting close. Oh, it's only the 3rd. Yeah, within the next couple days. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. You are so beautiful. There are links down below to donate if you feel so moved to donate to support the channel and the messages. There are also, like I said, my emails down below, description of the different services that I offer. The Bell Vespita I'm feeling especially for people right now as we're moving through all of these activations and receiving so much to help balance out the ascension symptoms, to bring us into more of a state of clarity and peace and stability, stabilize the energies and so forth. But there's all different things that I do. So reach out to me, email me if you want to do any one-on-one work with me, if you would like any assistance. Hit that like button if you liked this video. Drop a comment down below. I love you. I appreciate you. You are so very, very beautiful.